And we are live. It is the Monday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. My name is Rob Doster. I'm joined today by Terrence Oglesby and by the one and only Doug Gottlieb out on the West Coast. It's early for you, man. Me and Terrence are getting tired over here on East Coast time. We're dragging a little bit, but we got the energy. I'm ready to go. I did not fall asleep watching Wisconsin Badgers basketball.
I did.
You did? All right.
I got close. I had to battle it off, man. That was
wait.
Brutal
Before we
watch.
start, Rob, can I show you something?
Yeah.
Okay. What these are?
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
When Terrence was a player, okay, we were talking, I think it was in Hawaii at the Diamond Head Classic. I think it might have been Puerto Rico. I don't know. All those
It was Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Puerto Rico, I don't remember because we went out drinking with the refs. And I'm sorry, there was a lot of rum and whatever. But we got to talking, and I was like, "Hey, man, you know I could really use? I want some of those Clemson shorts." He's like, "I got you." You're like, "Okay." You know, you talk to a college kid, and they all say something nice. They just want you to say something nice about it on TV. I get home to Connecticut, and a couple weeks later, package came in the mail from Terrence Oglesby game shorts. So I still got them.
I've never gotten a pair of game shorts. As a matter of fact,
Dude,
T.O. was supposed to bring me a shipment of T-shirts when I saw him in New York last week. T.O., where are those T-shirts right now?
I don't know, dude. You were wearing them over top of all your other shirts that you were wearing there. You looked like you were going to a Sugar Ray concert.
I was ready.
Yeah, he did. He had his long sleeve white shirt underneath the shirt that I sent him. I think you got the shirt too.
It was a little chilly up there, man. What do you want?
Yeah, it was. I'll give you that.
Nippling out. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to avoid, you know. I gotta look classy out here. All right. Big game of the night was Illinois going into Milwaukee to take on Marquette. They lost. It was about as bad of a final 5 minutes as you can see from a point guard from Andre Curbelo. Doug, you are a point guard. Talk to me a little bit about what happened to Curbelo down the stretch.
Well, look, Curbelo last year, you know, they were smart. They used him off the bench, and he's one of those guys that I don't know the expression T.O. you guys used to use, but we'd say play for both teams. He's a play for both teams guy, right? Where you make a play, oh shit, and then he makes a play like, oh my god, he's just giving you like that. I mean, there was 3 plays in a row. They have complete control of the game. He drives to his right and gets kind of hung up and shoots it and misses a drive. Like, okay. Then he drives and the kid from the transfer from Oklahoma.
Kuoff, right?
Kerr Kuoff. I mean, Kerr blocks it the first time. The second time he drives it, like he didn't even smack it. He just went and kind of just grabbed it. It was so bad. And I mean, then it just got progressively worse where he was lost. But, you know, last year they used to have the ability to take him out when he get wild and sit him. And I think this year, especially when you don't have the big kid, when you know that you need somebody to create, but it was a mess. And then, then they had a lead and I thought they were trying to dribble into a foul and Williams has the ball midcourt and like no spatial awareness at all. They come and double him from the backside. It did look like a kickball, didn't it? Like, didn't that appear to be kind of, but just like that can't happen. There's a lot of things in college basketball you see that you don't see at a lower level, right? You don't see teams really loading to the basketball. Okay, you don't see some of the plays, some of the ball movement, some of the creativity. You don't see, right? But you always see pressure and traps, especially end of the games. And I was blown away by how bad Illinois was in that pressure. But Curbelo was the biggest. I mean, he was 4 of 18, and he had 8 turnovers. But I mean, those last 2 drives that were pinned were just as good as turnovers. Never looking to pass off penetration, and then defensively he loses his guy as well. I mean, that was a game that they just gave away. And you know, I can tell you, I mean, Brad on the way home is just going to be chewing some ass, but. God, Curbelo he's really he playing for both teams. That one was like, he was helping Marquette more. He's helping Illinois. What a disaster over the last 5 minutes.
Theo, how do you fix that? Is that just a confidence thing? Is that they don't have Kofi and he's not sure how to operate without him? Is that you're asking a guy to step into a role that maybe he's not ready for? Or is that just something where he lost his mind for a game and he's going to be fine moving forward? Like, how do you fix this? How do you move forward if you're Illinois?
It's hard to fix it because he hadn't been able to shoot the ball well enough to make guys respect him outside. So it seemed like everybody was packing in. And not only that, he was trying to get into the paint in weird ways. He was backing down and then trying to create space and then trying to create help situations. But it was one of those things. I've never seen anything quite like it. Complete tunnel vision. I think he ended up with 4 or 5 turnovers there in the last, I think 4 turnovers in the last 3.5 minutes, just because him trying to get into the middle of the paint to create something. And those are some of the things you have to live with. But the difference between this year's team and last year's team, last year had Ayo Dosunmu that was able to figure out things.
Great closer.
Great closer.
Basketball.
And he's so, yeah. And he was somebody that he didn't have to, he could do it on his own. And Curbelo doesn't have that type of athleticism to make it happen. And he can't shoot the ball. So they're just packing the paint on him. It was rough to watch. I was disappointed with that, but I was also disappointed in Trip Frazier because that's a 5th-year senior. Like, he's been there a long time. He should understand. Now, my first thought was they better foul. And then those blind traps, whenever I played for Oliver and Shaka was there at that time, we would always send blind traps at the ball handler. If his back was turned, that's when you go. And I was thinking, well, they're going to foul. And I think that's what Illinois was thinking too. They got it into their best free throw shooter's hands. They're going to foul. We're going to try to close it out on the defensive end. Well, he had no spatial awareness, as you said. I think the way you fix that, you send some wrong way screens at him. You load one side up, and then you try to, create some space for him. But was it Kirk Quath? He was
awesome. He was
awesome.
Hey, I got, there's a bunch of things that's like running in my mind. And Rob, I apologize, but I'm looking at the photo over T.O.'s shoulder. Okay. And this is an interesting thing. I had a conversation with somebody earlier today about never asking players to do something that you know they're not capable of.
There's a prime example right there.
No, not you, not you. Okay, Paulus, right? So Paulus is at Duke, and Duke has played the same back then, and they still kind of play the same way. Where, hey, we're just going to take you out of what you want to do. We're going to press you all over the court. And I feel bad for Greg Paulus, but like he couldn't do it. I mean, T.O. is about to abuse him right now, right? About to put him on a highlight. And I think you really got to know your guys and know what they're capable of. And DeMonte Williams is a very good shooter, but he is not a natural ball handler. And so there's a situation there where you have to, end of game, you have to have pressure counters. You have to have guys flashing and ball moving, because really the only guy on that club, and I would disagree with a little bit of deal about Curbelo, because he does have some shit to him. He can handle, he can break it. The problem is the decision-making once he gets in the lane, it's way too fancy, right? There was an over-the-shoulder pass for no reason.
Yeah.
Or there's a little bit of a selfish gene where he's trying to win it by himself. But I think, to answer your question, Rob, how you have to handle that is you got to put guys in situations that they can best succeed. You got to know your guys. And look, Ayo was not, did he win the Bob Cousy Award? He was up for and I vote for the Cousy Award. Like, this is stupid. He was not a point guard. He's a very good passer for a wing. But see, when you have multiple ball handlers, last year they could take him out, or last year, Dosunmu could get the basketball. And obviously you can throw it to the big guy, but Kofi can't make a free throw. So I would say that the way to handle it is put guys in positions where they can succeed. You have to have a delay game sort of offense, and you got to have pressure counters and guys flashing. But that play didn't lose them the game. It was the succession of not having an offense, getting sped up, and Curbelo making error after error after error. And the worst part about it is, when your point guard is driving in and getting a shot block, they didn't have good defensive balance. When your point guard is driving in and turn the basketball over, you don't have defensive balance. You're better off getting a 30-second shot clock violation where you can set your defense, because Marquette couldn't score in the half court.
Right.
They can score, though, when they're going 2-on-1 and 1-on-1 and 3-on-2, they can score. And that was the part that killed them.